Christian Computing Magazine is now Ministry Tech Magazine. The founder and editor, Steve Hewitt, joins us to talk about what's hot in technology one last time. Steve Hewitt, the editor-in-chief of Christian Computing Magazine, joins us today. Steve, lots of changes going on at Shelby Systems, also changes going on at Christian Computing Magazine and your other magazines. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the new ownership?
I started Christian Computing Magazine 26 years ago, and it's been an incredible journey. But it is time. I think I've taken the magazine as far as I could really go, so I started looking for somebody else that could take it further. And we began to talk with Outreach Media Group, and of course they own Outreach Magazine, they own Sermon Central and Church Leadership and Faith IT. They got about 20 brands, I think. And over the course of about 8 or 9 months, we did make the decision to sell both Christian Computing Magazine and the American Church Magazine to Outreach. I'm still with the magazines. Kevin Cross, who's been with me for 15 years, is still continue to be the managing editor. But they're able to take it a whole lot to the next level that we couldn't take it. So we're excited about the future.
So in your What's Hot class this year, you talked about IoT. Can you explain what that is and why that's going to be a big thing in the future?
IoT is sort of this year's buzzword, and it means Internet of Things. That's kind of a stupid phrase. I didn't make it up. But Internet of Things refers to the fact that there's not like a lot of gadgets that are coming out that's really to talk about, I need to buy this or I need to buy that, but everything is sort of getting connected to the internet, and it's human to human, but more computer to computer without our even knowledge. Like Hue light bulbs, which are like smart light bulbs that can turn on when you enter a room. Everything from our locks to garage doors to our smart cars, everything is just getting connected and interacting. So that's what Internet of Things is about.
So Steve, back at the beginning of the year, you did a cover story at Christian Computing Magazine called Are You Ready for 2015? You Should Be. There it is right there. Can you explain to us what that article was about?
Yeah, and I'm always a little concerned about talking about that article because I don't want to come across being too paranoid. But the fact of the matter is, when I look at technology in general, something is definitely on the increase and should be of concern. And that is that there were 5 times more hacks to systems and government systems, company systems. There were 5 times more in 2014 than there were in 2013. And that's supposed to go 5 times more, which would be 25 times more in 2015. About every major corporation's been hacked. And it's not hackers anymore like are trying to get into your computer and steal your ID. It's cyber warfare that's going on with North Korea, China, and of course just before this conference we had the news of a big huge hack. About every government computer has been hacked, with all of our government officials, their employees, their security ratings. And the big thing about 2015 is we need to probably be back to getting ready, like maybe Y2K when I was telling you don't get ready. I think now churches should be prepared. It's not like nuclear war or a volcano. I think we really should be concerned about cyber warfare. What would it be like in our society if the internet went down or the grid went down? Because there are attacks on those 2 items, and it would greatly affect our society.
You know, Steve, drones have been in the news quite a bit. They're saying now that they may be starting to be used commercially. Can you tell us where you think this technology may go in the future?
You know, the whole drone issue is really interesting because everybody's speculating. Are we really going to get the packages delivered directly to our homes or whatever? The interesting thing is combining the Internet of Things with this drone issue. Amazon now is talking about applying for patents and a program that would deliver a package to you, not to your home, but wherever you're at, because actually you may not be home. And the fact of the matter is, the way the internet is now, our smartphones, everywhere we go is being tracked. So they would simply send a drone package to wherever you're at. You're at your sister's house, I don't know what they do if you're at church. You get a little text message down out in the parking lot and a package would come down from the air. I'm not sure how it's going to work or if it's going to seem so strange, but it is a direction where people are trying to take us.
Steve, we talked a little bit about driverless cars last year. Can you tell us how close we are to having those on the streets?
I'm really happy driverless cars are coming because I'm 60 years old. My parents who are in their 90s, they can't drive anymore. I won't have that happen to me. And before it becomes an everyday part of all of our lives, it's going to happen gradually. And by gradually, I mean we're going to start having cars that will not run into the back of things. And that's just going to be like airbags as standard equipment. Cars that'll warn you when you leave the lane, they'll warn you. Cars that'll have the ability to tell if you're starting to doze off. And eventually, we already got cars that parallel park. We already got cars that can do a lot of stuff. It'll slowly happen, but probably 5 years from now, we'll see cars passing us with the drivers texting and it'll be okay because he's not actually driving the car.
You talk about the future of technology. I was hoping maybe you could also talk about the future of the American church. One of my friends wrote me a letter, and he said he has a missionary friend who works in prison ministry, and he says the model that seems to work there is groups of 3 and 4. They can kind of be honest with each other in those size groups, but when they get in a larger group, they kind of clam up and try and fight the battle on their own, and then they usually fail. Is that kind of how you see the future of the American church as well?
The ability to connect and communicate within a small group is the next vital issue for the church. The concept of our old style worship service, whether it's contemporary music or traditional hymns, we thought that was the issue. It's not. The issue is coming to a building, standing when you're told to stand, sit when you're told to sit, listening to somebody talk, and then being dismissed without the opportunity to ask a question or make a comment is hurting us. Everything else is adapted, but we have not. So small groups are vital. Small group connections are vital. And we're finding a lot of people in their 30s and doing surveys, that's what they may even be a member of a church and attend a church, but they won't attend the worship service. They're just going to the small groups because that's what they hold most dear. So we need to look at that in new ways, I think, for churches.
Steve, I know you're working on a pastor's retreat. Can you tell us how that project is coming along and when that might be open, and kind of give us some more details on how people can find out about that?
You know, that's really dear to my heart. That's one of the reasons we sold Christian Computing and the American Church Magazine. The company's still alive. We've got other projects coming, but the pastor retreat is centered to what we're trying to do. It's slow going. It's slow going. We finally got the road, we've got electricity, we've got the water, and even as we're doing this podcast, there's people clearing the trees for where the main lodge is going to go. It's more of a farm, so there'll be a place to fish. And we got chickens that love to eat out of the hands of humans. And we haven't got the milk cow yet, but if they want to milk a cow, we can let them do that and play with the goats. And it's really going to be a way to just get away. And our goal is for pastors to come without it being any cost, just to join us. Now, that's a bit of an issue on the business plan we're still working out, but that's our goal. And probably summer of 2016, we'll probably be ready to go.
If you would like to keep up with the latest technology trends, just visit the website that you see there on the screen and sign up for your free subscription to Ministry Tech Magazine. Certainly hope that is not the last time we hear from Steve Hewitt. Love to check in again with him soon, find out how his retreat ministry is going. Until then, we wish Steve Hewitt much success in the future, and thanks for being a great guest on the podcast for many years.